Hey kids, Mr. Glenn here. Hope you are well. We are going to be learning about the Microbit robotics with a Nezha expansion board. What that is one of these. So I've got one of these here, and this is an expansion board that uses sort of what's called J45 cables, and we've got some this is a motion sensor or a proximity sensor, so we can use different sensors in here with motors and servos and all bits and pieces like that. And what this is for is we can use our microbits here. This is version 2 that we have in school. We also have some version 1s in school as well, I think. Okay. And then we could use this with the board. We're going to make sure that we know how to plug these up together. Okay. So I've got a little guide for us. So we need to go make sure we know how these work. We can go and use them and turn them on. And so you notice I did a click to turn them on and a double click to turn them off. And then for this to work, this needs to be coded somehow. And so I'm going to turn this on. So when we come and turn this on, this needs to be coded somehow. You can see the lights on the back, and there's a bit of code in here that tells it what to do and what these pins do, what they all do with different pins. So we have these motor pins that they do different things, and so these will need to be plugged into our computers. So we use micro USB and we plug them up together, and we plug them all in, make sure that we can plug these in and plug the cables in, and then we're going to put them together with a micro USB and a regular USB. So I've got my micro USB and they go in gently. Okay, and then this is ready to be used on my computer. You can see there we've got this up and running, and it recognizes it, and it means that now I can go and connect with MakeCode. Okay, just so you know what's on here, and you can come back to this. Okay, this is our version 2. The difference between version 1 and version 2 is that it's got different sensors in it. I think these ones have better accelerometers, and they're the ones that you can control it by tilting and turning it around. You have a microphone on it, and you have a speaker as well, which means that it can record your voices as a sound, as a clue for what we're going to do later. It's also got a speaker on the back, so that when you record your sound, you can get it to play your sound. And what we're going to do then is go and build something. You can see here on this, if I was going to expand it, we've got this proximity sensor here, and it's going to flash and tell us what's on here based on our code. Okay, so next job is we have to go and build it, and then we're going to go and code it. Now we can build it in class, that's fine, but what we're going to do now is make sure that it's all plugged in and it's on. Okay, we're going to go into MakeCode, into MakeCode and microbit.org. Okay, I've got the link here, and it's also in your teams. All this is in your teams as well, because I've pointed it to you out to you already. I'm just going to pull this over here so I can use this on my other screen. So when you're here, if you've never seen this before, let's just go and have a quick look around. We've got our emulator here, which has different buttons on it. The emulator means to emulate something. It means to copy something. So basically, it's copying the code that's on the main screen, which is here. And it's going to emulate it in here, because it's not the real thing. So an emulator kind of pretends to be the real thing, a bit like a games emulator, I suppose. So you've got your blocks in the middle that you'll have been using either in Minecraft, or you've used it in arcade.makecode to make your computer games. A very, very similar pieces of code, similar blocks, and then the same way of reading from top to bottom. Reading in regular language. First thing we've got to do is have a look around. We've got to go and connect a device. So you need to make sure that this is plugged in, it's lit up, okay, it's ready to be flashed. and then you connect your device. It'll say what to do. So it gives you instructions in the middle. You see it's got a wee light on the top, and it says, do you want to go and pair it? So when you go and pair, you will get a block like this. It'll say it will get a window that looks like this, and it says Microbit CM DAP, and it says connect. Okay, and then here it'll go red, and you can see it's got a yellow light on the top showing that it's going to be connected. Once it's done that, down the bottom you'll see this thing flashing, and it says connecting. And if you have the word disconnect, it means it is already connected. Now this is handy because we are going to have to go and put some code in here, especially for the Nezha expansion board. Okay, oops, connection failed. Never mind, we can always download it, it's all fine. So inside here, we have to put some code in, but we need the Nezha extension. Okay, that is in here in extensions in our code blocks in the middle. Okay, so I'm going to go and get my code blocks, my extensions. These are really handy because, like I gave us a clue before, we can record our speech as well. So there is some extensions in here that are going to become very, very, very useful later on. Okay, so let's go and find and search for Nezha. Let's make sure I can go and spell this correctly. I think it's Nezha. Go and search for that. Enter. There we go, and we get the Nezha block like that. That's the expansion board. So we've got the expansion board. What we want to do first is forever, we want to go into here and show a number. So let's go and grab show a number, which is in basic. It says here, show a number, and pop it into the forever block. Okay. And you'll notice that in the emulator, it says show the number. So if we put, let's say we put 12 in here, enter, it's obviously going to show 12 in here. All right. There we go. Next, we're going to need to use our extensions. Now there's something that we need to be careful of because there are actually two extensions that we're going to need. The first one is going to be in here for our motors. Of course, you can see that these have got all our motors on the inside, but we're going to need some variables in here, especially when we want to come and use these special motors and inputs. Sorry, so we've got these sensors, and we've got things like a potentiometer and moisture sensors and buttons and lights and stuff. So to do that, we have to go and get a thing called Planet X. So let's go and search for Planet X. Let's go and do this. Go to my extensions. I'm going to search for Planet X. Like this, Planet X. And you can see there, we've got the same things from Elecfreaks here. And you can see all the sensors on the inside are there. Good. So far, so good. And you'll notice that in the middle, we now have Planet X base. And we want some sensors, inputs, and some executes. This is what we want. And the thing we need is a sensor, and we need the ultrasonic sensor in the J1 slot. Ultrasonic sensor in the J1 slot. And we're going to drop that in there like that. Okay. Now, you can see that it's showing us something in here. And let's go and read this code. Okay. I'm going to go and zoom in a bit so we can see what this is. Okay. So we have this show ultrasonic in the J1. Okay. So in there, this refers to these slots in here, J1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay. That's where the cables are going to go into. Now it says J1, so we need to make sure that the cable, our J cable, goes into the J1 slot with this end slotted in as well. Okay. Because we then have to go and put the code onto here. It's called a hex code. And the hex code, which is here on the screen, the hex code then is going to be put onto here, and then it's going to be able to send the signal and receive the signal from the J1 input, and then show it onto the array of LEDs on here. So the array is this set of squares that is on my emulator. You can see when my mouse is now on the screen. These set of arrays is called an LED array. Okay, done. Now I'm going to go make sure it's in centimeters because I don't want it in feet. And then because it said that it's connecting, I'm going to go and connect my device again because it is plugged in. If it's not plugged in, it's not the end of the world. I will show you how. It says pair, and it says it's paired already. Good. Done. It said we couldn't find your Microbit. I think that's my browser, but I'm not going to worry. I can go and download it, hit download on the big download button. And then we try and get the downloaded file onto here. And sometimes you can see it's flashing here, and it didn't quite work for me when I paused the video just a second ago. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on the three bubbles here, and then I'm going to download as a file, and it's going to go into my downloads folder. So I'm going to hit download as file, and it's going to prompt me to pair again, but I'm not going to do that this time. What I'm going to do is go into my downloads folder. You can see that I've got downloads here, and it's the same as on the Mac as well. So I'm going to hit Microbit, the distance indicator is what I've called it. Save, good. And the same as on your Macs, okay, I'm going to go and get my folders like this, okay. And then what I'm going to do is grab this, and inside I'm going to just roll down and see where my Microbit is here. My Microbit is right there. I need to grab this and drag this into my Microbit, and what it's going to do is flash the file onto here. And I think some of you have done this before. I'm going to flash it, and then you should see it start to flash on here as it drops it into. I'm going to go and replace it and do it one more time. Yeah, I think it flashed. It's good. So I'm going to go and just minimize that. Get rid of that. I can unplug this now. That's fine. Unplug it. And then I'm going to slot this into here, making sure that the array is, the LED array is facing that outwards and facing front. Now, this should, as soon as I put my hand as close to the ultrasonic sensor, it will show up the number that I'm going to go and put on the screen. And when I put my hands over the sensor, it should read a number on there, because on our code it says it's going to measure it in centimeters. So it should, if it's correct, if I put my hand there, the number should change. 6, 8, what does that say? 10, 48. If I make sure my hand's there, 17, 4. Okay, so now this expansion board is reading the code that we've put in here, which is only 3 blocks of code. So what we're going to do now is we're going to stop, have a go ourselves, and then we're going to go and try and see if we can change it even further. Maybe even start with some sound. Who knows? Right, Year 5, as always, good luck.